All right, welcome to this edition of Kickin' It with Kate. Today we have a very special guest. This is Jill Stevens. She is the co-owner of Coglins Limited, which is a third-generation family-owned business right here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It is the outdoor accessory people, and she's also a super mom and all-around great person. Welcome to Kickin' It with Kate.
Hiya, Kate.
So, just a little preview for everybody. Jill has existed in Surefire Fitness's world before Surefire Fitness even existed. So, as a business, Surefire is 15 or 16, maybe now, years old. It's been around for a little while, which is eye opening. But before Surefire even existed, Jill Stevens was a client when I was just doing some personal training on the side as a part time job and would often test out ideas and was always willing to help me out in terms of, oh, let's try this workout at the park, Jill, or hey, let's find some friends and do a partner workout or a small class. So just wondering how that has been for you. I'm sure everyone's wondering how you've been able to put up with my terrible jokes for over 20 years now.
Yeah, I've kind of just been along for the ride. At one point, we were taking tennis lessons together, or you were instructing tennis lessons for me, and then suddenly I'm part of Surefire Fitness, and here we are, 15 years later.
Yeah, it's
So
actually been almost 20, if you can believe
yeah, yeah.
that.
So I've certainly seen the evolution of the business and how Kate's worked at continuing to grow it and change and evolve, and I've kind of, I think, been a part of most aspects of Surefire Fitness over the
Yeah,
years.
you definitely have. From small group training to large group training, from personal training to involving your family members and friends to test out different ideas and classes and products and services. So you
Yeah,
have
coming to some of
definitely.
the fun events that you've put on too. That's been a highlight.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I have evolved with you, which is kind of amazing and awesome. Is there anything that you've noticed maybe outside of Surefire Fitness in terms of the fitness industry and how things might have changed over the last couple of decades, whether it's how fitness is promoted or delivered or any of those kinds of things that jump out at you?
Um, well, one thing that jumps out at me is just how kind of educated you are, Kate, and how focused you are on proper technique and proper kind of background of why we're doing something. I think in the fitness industry, everyone and their dog knows how to be a first personal trainer, and I know that I'm getting really great care from you and good content versus just anyone on social media recommending an exercise that might not actually benefit someone or might not be working towards the goals that they have. So I certainly feel like that has been kind of why I have stayed as long as I have.
Well, thank you, despite all the bad jokes. And yes,
Yeah.
I do try to stay current and keep learning.
Yeah.
Anyone who works in or is involved in the fitness industry knows that there is an infinite amount of knowledge and nobody can know it all, but I do enjoy learning and being able to help my customers the best way possible at that time. So you've had a pretty monumental life event in the last year, exactly a year ago, actually. We've got two little girls that are now part of the Surefire family, Ailey and Sinead, and they are a year old now. How has that, or their arrival, I guess, changed your world? That's a huge question, but try.
Yeah. Being a twin mom, I knew I would have my hands full, but when my two little twins arrived 3 months early, that definitely changed my world and my husband's world. And so trying to keep up with them and just care for them and go through the NICU experience that we had was pretty significant. But I think it also has made us appreciate having them home and just that they're well and that they're flourishing. So yeah, it's been a wild year, but a really good year.
Yeah. And I know with them being born as early as they were, you weren't necessarily expecting or planning your schedule for that. Tell us how it was the first little bit, because I know you were spending nights at the hospital with them or days at the hospital and going back and forth. Were you able to, or how were you able to manage that? I guess is the best way I can ask that.
Well, we have a wonderful new hospital in Winnipeg, the Women's Hospital, that allows you to stay with your baby kind of 24/7 if you want. Unfortunately, my husband was off work as well, so we spent 12 hours a day at the hospital and stayed overnight if we needed to. But I think the support of the healthcare staff there, the nurses were fabulous. And so relying on each other and relying on our loved ones and people checking in, we had so much support, and that really did make a difference to us.
Yeah. Well, you do have a really strong network, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And often people talk about after having babies or a baby is the postpartum fitness journey. And a lot of times it's all about snapping back into pre-baby shape or weight or how you felt before. Um, that aside, how have you managed to kind of get back into a fitness routine with the two little ones disrupting your entire life?
Yeah. Well, my two goals for fitness kind of postpartum were to keep up with being able to carry them. I've got two little 18-pound weights that are just getting heavier by the day. So that was one of my goals. And then I wanted to return to playing ringette, which I've participated in my entire life. So that's kind of what you and I worked on. And I know that I need to continue to build my strength because, as I said, those weights aren't getting any lighter.
Yeah, and you've done such a great job of giving your body the time it needed after they were born and while you were going through all of those things with going back and forth from the hospital, but then also easing yourself back into fitness in a way that felt right at the time. And we are super happy to report that yes, you've been back on the ice. Your ringette team is super pleased to have their star player back. So
not quite, but
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I think the biggest thing, like returning to fitness after postpartum, is just to focus on your values. It's not about a certain aesthetic or even the way you feel. It's about what do I want to do in my life and what do I need from my body in order to kind of accomplish that. So
yeah, and that's definitely what I try to relay to anybody. But it just seems in postpartum world, a lot of the messaging is around getting that pre-baby body back or whatever that may be. And I definitely try to shy away from that and just ease people back into the feelings of feeling good and doing the things they want to do and not necessarily worrying about the looks so much.
yeah.
During our workouts, so as everyone now knows, we've been working out for a long time. Do you have a favorite exercise that if I throw it into a circuit or into your workout, you're just like, yeah, I love this?
Well, I often call Y's, T's, and W's my old friend because I think that's a kind of at the start of my workout kind of readiness exercise, but they've been in and out of my workout all the way along. And so Y's, T's, and W's on the Bose or on the physio ball
okay,
are one of my favorites.
Okay, love it. Tons of variations, even if we haven't always called them Y's, T's, and W's. And for those who might be wondering why we're talking about the alphabet, Y's, T's, and W's are just a set of shoulder activation exercises that are actually really good for posture. So whether someone's sitting at a computer all day, or which you've done in your past life, or carrying heavy babies around, it's just a nice exercise to help strengthen the shoulders and maintain good alignment and posture. So yes, those have been a staple for you. I'm glad you still love them. Is there a least favorite exercise?
Oh, well, there's many. I'm quite particular with Kate. I hate anything timed, and I hate holding anything. So that leaves it very limited in terms of what you can do.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick an exercise, I don't like dead bugs. But yeah, anything held or anything timed is probably my least favorite activity.
Okay, so you're not the first person to mention dead bugs on this show.
I did hear that, yes.
So I will keep that in mind. I love dead bugs, but apparently not everybody does. But you do bring up an interesting point about timed exercises. And I know that about you. So instead of doing a certain number of repetitions, like 10 squats, it would be like holding a squat at the bottom for 30 seconds or 45 seconds. And the reason we do things like that, not just in your case, but for anybody, is just for muscular endurance and also a little bit of mental fortitude and sometimes just to mix things up a little bit. If a person hates those exercises, I'll tend to try to mix in things that they like because I don't want you to hate your entire workout. But sometimes it is good practice to push yourself and do things that make you feel uncomfortable. So I had a feeling you might say that. It's not necessarily one exercise, but a type of exercise. There are also ways around it where you can add some movement to an exercise. So even though it's timed, you're still doing something. So hopefully we can keep you from being bored with those moving forward.
The distraction technique always works. So
yeah. It's
definitely.
interesting because other people love that type of thing where they can just like kind of get into a certain mode and not have to worry about moving and they just kind of breathe into it. So everyone's different and we try to accommodate for that. Is there anything moving forward that you're super excited about showing the twins or doing with the twins?
I'm excited to go camping this summer. We're ambitiously going to try and take them out.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to just being outside with them. They'll be too young to go hiking yet, but just spending time outdoors this summer and getting out camping is probably what I'm most excited for.
Yes, well, as a third generation owner of a camping accessory store, I feel like that is an excellent fit and a great way to introduce them to outdoors and all the activities that go with it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Kicking It with Kate. Jill Stevens, have yourself an excellent day.
You too, Kate. See ya.